I have a little son with my ex-husband. We've been in the middle of a divorce for 3 years. My ex has made settling the divorce and deciding custody of our son a nightmare for me, both financially and emotionally. I finally reached my boiling point 2 months ago when I realized just how bad my finances are at the moment and the fact that I would need to stop the divorce and move to an even cheaper but dangerous area just to survive at this point. I don't want my son to have to live there too. So I decided that the next time my ex was in the country, I would take my son and leave him with his dad since he wants custody so badly. My ex assumed it was just for the day, but when I didn't come to pick him up in the evening and I wasn't home when he tried to drop him off, he started texting and calling me nonstop, telling me I needed to come collect our son since he didn't have his nanny there and he was very busy. I ignored him for over a week until he started threatening to have someone come and find me. We had a conversation where my ex was asking me what type of mother just ups and abandons her child like I had done. He wanted to know where I was and wanted to know when I was coming back. When I told him I wasn't, he told me he had learned his lesson and I needed to stop punishing our son to make a point. I told him I wouldn't come back because my ex was right. He had the money to give our son a better life, so he had won. He asked me what he was supposed to tell our son, and I told him he should tell him the truth, that his dad liked to bully people with his money, and it made me have to go away. He got really angry and told me not to play games, and that we could go back to our old financial agreement that we had before I filed for divorce, if I would just come back. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. You have a kid, and you cannot do this childish crap anymore. Grow up. I get that you're upset at your ex and that the divorce process is hard, but you have a kid. Stop playing the victim and acting like everything is your ex's fault. You chose to go away. You chose to abandon your kid. At least own up to your actions. Maybe it's for the best. Using your child as a pawn is the worst thing you can do to your child. Maybe it's a good thing you are abandoning him. Leaving a child with their parent is not abandonment. The father leaves the country, and she also has the kid for weeks at a time. Is that also abandonment? The father is draining her of money and is fighting for full custody. She gave it to him. OP's in a financial and emotionally toxic relationship. What option does she have? It sucks for the kid, but she's poor and can't afford the costs for both her and her kid. OP is not the idiot. Ex wants custody so badly, OP's burnt out. Everyone's the idiot. You might have some defenders here who support your actions, but I'm concerned about the message you sent your son when you were not there to collect him when your ex attempted to drop him off. Moreover, you refused to respond to your ex's text messages for an entire week. Did it never occur to you that your son might think you were in some horrible accident, or that he correctly deduced that you abandoned him? And the reasons your ex sucks should be obvious. I disagree. The ex did exactly what he meant to do. He beat her into compliance out of spite. He used his money to overpower her and break her will. He didn't count on her treating him as an equal parent. He has just as much obligation to that child, beyond money, that she does. He's equally a parent. Plus, he has all the power and money. Good on you, OP. You should go after visitation. You are the idiot. OP, stop using your child as a pawn. That child is innocent, and you walking away is not okay. You should have discussed this with your lawyer and figured out a plan and a way to make this work for him to be safe. OP isn't weaponizing her child. Her ex is. He's the one dragging out the divorce for 3 years, draining OP's finances knowingly and forcing her to move to a less safe area. He knows what he's doing. He is purposely putting his child in danger because of his desire to hurt OP. By draining OP's finances and forcing her to move to a less safe area, he can prove to the courts he's the more fit parent. OP called his bluff. He's using his own child as a means of hurting OP. It's not because he actually wants custody. He wants to hurt OP, and if his own child suffers as a result, oh well. He's the only idiot here. I, teen female, go to an international school. I am the only Middle Eastern kid, alongside my sister, and we have pretty noticeable names, so people always had trouble pronouncing them. So I get asked if they can shorten my name to an English version. It's really weird because my first name, which is a Turkish name, is only 2 syllables. The only part that should be hard for an English person to pronounce is the C. C's are read as the J sound, like in John in Turkish. My middle name is Arabic and even harder to pronounce for English speakers. Anyways, I go to a British school, so most of the teachers are either British or local. They do not even bother trying to pronounce my name correctly. A few of my teachers make an effort, so it's appreciated, but we all have those teachers that don't care, right? My English teacher is an excellent example of that. The first day we met, he asked me if I had an easier middle name to pronounce. My God, it's 2 syllables. You can say Dostoevsky without stuttering, but my name is what gets you? Even though I do have a middle name, I told him no and went on with my day. From that day on, he's been bugging me to let him call me a shortened version of my name, like Ren, which, no. This is a continuous thing, and I've even complained to the principal about it, but all he said was, "It's just a name," and told me to leave his office. My drama teacher was even worse. She quit last year, so I guess that's good. She asked me if she could call me Clara, because it's a lot prettier than my name, don't you think? At first I laughed because I thought she was joking. I mean, wouldn't you? But then she only started calling me Clara in class and would get mad when I got confused. It made me feel invisible, like I didn't matter enough for her to bother learning my name. She didn't do it to the other kids in class, so it bothered me even more. One day I decided I had enough and started ignoring her whenever she called me Clara, since it's not my name, and she got mad. I'm talking screaming down the hallway to get me to stop walking away from her mad. She gave me detention for ignoring her when she was, quote, clearly calling out to you. Then when I tried to defend myself, she gave me another detention for talking back. I went to the principal again because this was unfair, but he said I was unreasonable and should have answered her regardless. I told my parents what happened, and you can guess that they were livid. They sent an angry email to the principal and everything, but it only made matters worse. I still go to that school and have to listen to people purposely butcher my name. I still ignore them when they do, and still get detention for it, which isn't fun. I know it's been a year and everything since the drama teacher occurrence, but I'm still angry about it. Am I the idiot for ignoring my teachers? Do I deserve all these detentions? Wow, not the idiot. How incredibly insensitive for teachers to belittle a student in this way. Names are an important part of a person's identity and deserve to be respected. But welcome to the real world, where sometimes 2 wrongs do in fact make a right. So from now on, every time someone calls you a different name, you call them a different name. They'll learn quickly. Not the idiot, but all of them are. I would be right there with your parents and be furious about what they are doing to you. Can't you switch schools? I'm so sorry you had to put up with this kind of garbage. I can relate because my daughter has a Welsh name, and people butcher it all the time. Not the idiot. Names can be difficult to pronounce, but with a little effort and time can be learned. Calling you Clara, when let's say it's a ruse, is a drastic difference, disrespectful, and who the heck are they to suspend you, or detention, or whatever, when it's not even close to resembling your name? It could be anyone they're calling out. Your principal is useless as well. Your drama teacher had no right to give you a different name, simply because she couldn't be bothered to learn how to say yours. This is discrimination. You may have to accept that sometimes people will say your name incorrectly. That happens with lots of names. It's frustrating, but they are trying to say your name more than your drama teacher did. The more people get to know you, the more they will get used to saying it. I and my wife split expenses based on income and have the same amount of fund money left over. She got a massive raise 6 months ago, and she told me she was making $6,250. I found out she was making $7,500 per month when I was searching for a document on her laptop. I talked to her about it, and she feels she deserves to have some money of her own because we had to live like broke college students for years due to the college debt that I brought into the relationship. I thought it was unfair, but she said she wouldn't contribute more, and I gave up arguing because we spend a lot of time arguing. This month I have not taken her out on dates, as I pay for them with my own fund money because I want to make her happy. I instead spend that money on buying myself a few books and games. My wife is upset and thinks I'm being petty for making things transactional. She talked to my sister, and my sister also thinks I'm being an idiot about it. I feel like crap because my wife is really hurt by this, and I can see it in her body language when she pretends that she's just angry about it. I don't want my wife to feel insecure and hurt. I feel like crap for making her feel that way. Am I the idiot here? Everyone's the idiot. You for obvious reasons. You're married, dude. You think this petty behavior is going to lead you to a good result? Guess what? It's going to put you on a path to resentment and divorce. Her also for the obvious reason of lying and hiding money. Not cool in a marriage. Again, going to lead to resentment, etc. Now on to how to fix this debacle. You both need to sit down, ideally while you're both in a good mood, and have an honest chat about finances. What are your expectations in regard to saving, spending money, planning for retirement, etc., etc.? So, one partner lies to the other about how much money they're making, spending money on themselves and hoarding assets. OP stumbles on the truth, upon which the lying partner acts like the victim of their own lie. But OP is the idiot? Because by catching her in her lie, he's being petty. Makes perfect sense. This is exactly right. Not the idiot. They split proportionally, so each had the same amount. However, she is now hiding $15,000 yearly just for herself and still expects his fun money to be spent on her while she hoards $15K all to herself. On top of that, she's pouting and acting childish because all of the fun money and her hidden money isn't going to her. I can't even wrap my head around her thought process. I'ma say you are the idiot. You would not be taking her on dates if she's paying for them. She would be taking you. You made a huge deal about money, so how is she supposed to feel? She probably hid the amount from you to avoid this. Also, it's interesting how you brought debt to the relationship, which affected both of you, and she stood by you with that. Now she has a bit of extra money. You're getting annoyed and expect her to pay more. Therefore, you will pay less, even though you two lived broke due to your debt to begin with. She's paid her dues to the relationship. Now let her enjoy the money she earns. My 22 female, mom has always been very controlling over me. When she thinks something, wants something, etc., she tries her best to get her way. A few months ago, I started feeling incredibly moody and angry for no reason, and my mom thinks it's because of my birth control. Not because I just started working 40 hours a week and my relationship was tough at the time. No, it was definitely my pill causing my stress, anger, and mood change. When we had fights, she would constantly tell me to quit birth control. When something happened at work that made me moody, she would tell me to quit the pill. I eventually told her I'd consider it, but she just forced me to quit. She would constantly ask me when the last day was to take my pill. I told her I quit, and a few months went by, and of course, she says I'm much less moody, more myself, and that she's glad I quit. But I never quit. I lied to her. I wanted to see if it was really my pill. Work is still stressful, but I feel more comfortable there, and my boyfriend and I are great again. Yesterday, she again told me how much I changed, how happy and relaxed I am, and that she's still glad about quitting the pill. So I told her I never stopped and how it was the other things causing my anger, etc. She was furious with me. She demanded to know why I would lie to her for so long, and she felt betrayed. I told her I didn't owe her anything. If I wanted to take birth control or not, it's not up to her, and that I felt she interfered too much with me and my meds. She still thinks it's not fair I lied to her about it. So am I the idiot? Not the idiot, and I would be careful where I keep my birth control from now on. She sounds like the kind of manipulative person who would sabotage it just to make a point. Has she always been so controlling? I would straight up move out. Nobody messes with my protection. If OP's mom wants a grandbaby so badly, she can ask for it, not make accidents happen without planning ahead of time financially. OP but look into getting contraception she can't tamper with, like a rod or an IUD. She might find your birth control, put it in the microwave, so it stops working but looks normal. Not sure if relevant to your situation, but controlling and abusive people often want their children to fall pregnant before they're financially or emotionally ready, because it becomes that much harder to leave the family dynamic and be socially mobile. Put her on an info diet. This has nothing to do with you, and I won't be discussing it. Not the idiot at all. Just imagine you had followed your mother's crazy advice while you were feeling so down and depressed and got pregnant by accident. From the details of your story, it sounds like the last thing you would want. Babies are great in the right circumstances, of course. Short of having a huge argument with your overbearing mother while you were so stressed, she left you with no option but to lie to her. You proved your hunch wrong in the process, and hopefully, you won't be taking any further advice from her about these things. My wife and I have recently come into conflict about this. We hired our nanny, Rachel, about 2 months ago to watch over our 8-month-old son since my wife and I work. She's been nothing but professional with us and does her job taking care of our boy. The issue happened a month ago. My wife has a friend who lives a few houses down who's a major gossip. She started telling my wife Rachel had an affair with one of the husbands she was working for right before we hired her. The couple in question is currently separated, but they haven't said why. Thing with my wife's friend is sometimes she has a habit of spreading rumors that are false. Sometimes the truth, but you can't tell with her. My wife is telling me she's worried about her working with us, and frankly, I felt insulted. I asked her if she thought I was capable of doing something awful like that to her and our family. She told me she knows I wouldn't, but she can't help but feel insecure now, since I get home 2 hours earlier than she does every day, and Rachel might try something. We talked about this a few times this week. For one thing, that I only have eyes for my wife. I've never once in the 10 years we've been together shown that I can't be faithful. And lastly, we don't even have confirmation Rachel did that. Despite the talk, my wife still wants us to fire Rachel. I don't believe in firing someone who's doing their job based on something that may or may not have happened before she was even hired. Of course, if Rachel started acting unprofessionally or crossing any lines, then sure, she'd be out the door. My wife thinks I'm being a bit of an idiot, that I'm not looking at it from her side and being a bit more understanding how it's making her feel. And yeah, I can see the way it looks, but she's only taking her gossiping friend's word. And on top of that, thinks I'm capable of doing this awful thing. I'm honestly confused, and if my stance makes me the idiot here or not. Not the idiot, but your wife is a total idiot. Ask her how she'd like it if some gossip cost her a job. Even if the girl did have an affair, it has nothing to do with her job as a nanny. And if I were you, I'd be a lot more angry at my wife. If your wife doesn't trust that you would tell her if the nanny crossed the line, why did she choose a female nanny? The gossip lady only knows what she's been told, probably by the wife. Could be the husband in question was harassing the nanny, who complained to the wife who fired her, because of course the nanny is an evil seductress. Or the husband wanted to sleep with her, and she shut him down. Everyone has a motive for lying here. Unless lie detectors are involved, we will never know the truth. But the nanny's life is pretty much destroyed no matter what. All because OP's wife's friend loves gossip, and his wife thinks that all men are dogs, including OP. And if a woman is paid by a man to care for his kids, she must be offering extra services. What a charming woman. You have every right to be insulted here. Your wife's concern here is the perceived threat that you would cheat on her. Who cares if Rachel had an affair with someone else? That's her business. People have affairs for all sorts of reasons, and it's rarely because they enjoy destroying people's lives. You might not even be her type. She may still be seeing the dude, and they could be madly in love. Or this could have never even happened. I think you and your wife need some couples counseling before your wife's insecurity ruins your marriage. If she thinks she'll cheat at the first easy opportunity, you've got bigger problems than a gossip friend.